Hello again and welcome to beautiful, sunny, cool Northern California. KSFO, Mr. X6's KSFO. We're here in the completely inappropriate for this airport Beech Bonanza with the Reality expansion pack on it, otherwise known as the Stop Carenado from Sucking pack. Carenado makes beautiful looking airplanes, but some of them function pretty damn well and others function pretty damn poorly. This one I don't know because I instantly put the Reality expansion pack on it and it is magnificent. Anyway, we're going to do some VFR proficiency flying, I guess you'd say. Sort of learning how to fly with respect to points on our glare shield and windshield and points on the horizon and so on. We're going to do some steep turns, some circling around a fixed point, and we're going to do it in wind that is 15 gusting 20-25, so it's kind of a bit of a challenge. Let me see if I can find a windsock here. There's a windsock. Could have sworn I saw one around here somewhere. Alright, well, never mind. But you'll see when we get up in the air, it's pretty hefty. Anyway, because we're already inappropriately on this runway, we might as well just start up here. Let me just turn our strobe off and our landing light off and make sure our avionics are off. Throttle full, mixture full, props full, battery on. Try that again. Battery on. There we go. And alternator on. Gear is down. Parking brake is set. Cowl flaps are open. Trim is set to neutral. We're going to turn on our fuel pump and prime the engine by waiting until this spikes and then immediately shutting it off. This is a very touchy thing. If you prime it, you'll flood the engine and it will be bad. Okay, so on, peak, off. That is it. And you don't take off or land with the fuel pump on, you will flood the engine. So back comes the throttle. Open it up 1/4 inch. Everything else stays as is. Et voila. That's about as low as I can idle without fouling the plugs. The other thing I'm going to do is I'm burning a little bit more on my left side. I'm going to switch over to the right tank. And let's get our trim set to something reasonable. Ever so slightly up, but not too much. Flaps. Oh, we don't need any. We don't need no stinking flaps. We're on a long runway here. Alright, turn on our strobes, landing light, now that we're on the runway. Check everything else. Our cylinder temperatures are coming up into the green, oil temperatures coming up in the green. I'm starting this thing warm. Our exhaust gas temperatures don't know because I have to turn on the avionics. And let me see if I can just turn off the devil's work here, the Garmin navigator. No. I love the GTN 750 because it's built for computer flying. It's got a touch screen. This, on the other hand, has a diddly-fiddly knob, and it is a gigantic pain in the ass. Even though it more or less does the same thing as the touchscreen Garmin's, it just does it in a way that's absolutely worthless. So, anyway, turn off our marker beacon there. Don't need that. So we're going to take off. We're going to head back over the city of San Francisco. over Mount Sutro to the radio tower there, and we're going to do some circling around it. And we're going to try, even though there's a wind, to make it the most circular circle we can, which is going to entail keeping an eye on which way the wind is pushing us, and then either shallowing or steepening our turn, depending, to maintain it. So I don't pretend I'm really good at this, but we'll give it a shot. So off come the parking brakes. Props full, mixture full, rich. Give us just a little bit of right rudder trim. And we should be taking off almost into the wind. The wind should be a little bit off to our left. All right, up we go. Gear up. And we'll do a sort of modified chandelle here, holding it right on the stick shaker. That's about our maximum rate of climb. The idea is a maximum performance climb that gets us back onto the reciprocal of the runway heading and as high as we possibly can in the shortest space. And so there we go. Alright, we should actually pitch for about 80. Just trimming down a little bit. And getting a feel for the wind. Now we are going at about 70 knots, and our ground speed, looking at the GPS, is about 90. So we've got about a 20 knot tailwind from behind us, so we'll keep that in mind. But I mean, I could feel that already. If you look at how we're going over the ground, you'll see now that that wind is pushing us a little bit from that way, which is why, if you look at a landmark on the ground here, you'll see we're drifting towards the highway there. Alright, so we'll come up, if we possibly can. This is not a performance airplane. We'll come up, if we can, to about 2,500 feet. And as you can see, it's just a glorious day. There's no question about that. There's the South San Francisco, the industrial city sign on the hillside right down there. I think we'll make it. There is the radio tower we're going to be circling around. I'm going to come up and do a few steep turns first, so it'll just get us to altitude. Again, the Lancer, this is not. Tis a stately beast. Now you notice we're climbing, of course, and the horizon right now is right about there. When we're cruising, the horizon with respect to here is going to be right about there. So that's something to think about. Alright, there's 2,500 feet. Let's level off. Let's pull back on the manifold pressure a little bit to about 23. Come down on the props to about 23. There we go. Trim us up a little bit. Fix our rudder trim a little bit. There we go. Now when we do a steep turn, we are going to first we'll crank in a little bit of back pressure, But then if we get really steep, we'll actually have to use rudder in the opposite direction to hold the nose up, and of course we're going to have to add a little bit of power as well. Let me just show you what that looks like. We'll roll into this turn, and now I'm using coordinated rudder. I'll steepen that out a little bit right there. Holding the nose on the horizon. But now as we get a little steeper right here, I'm going to have to use opposite rudder. And I'm still losing a little bit of altitude, so it's actually, there we go. Alright, we're still at 2,500 feet. I've stressed my engine a little bit, and we'll head towards the tower. Now when we get to this tower, we're going to brake into a right-hand turn. And I'm just going to ease off on the engine right there a little bit. We'll come right up here. And in a second we'll brake right, and then we'll turn left in a minute after that. You see the wind is blowing us from right to left at this point, so there we go. And we'll turn at about this radius and try and maintain it around the tower. Let's see. You see the wind is pushing us. So let's just shallow that out for 1 second. Otherwise it's going to be a very steep turn. Well, let's do a very steep turn. So we'll roll into it right when we get beam the tower. Okay. That's what level flight looks like, more or less. Okay, we're beam the tower now. Okay. I want to keep it off the wing the entire time. Okay, now we're going to have to turn a little steeper here because we're going to get pushed by that wind in 1 second. Now we'll shallow it out. Okay. Caught a little gust there. All right. And we're just going to stay over this right now. There's our shadow. Look at that. We'll steepen out right there. Oops. Alright. Alright, we lost about 200 feet. But that's not too bad. Alright, let's do some figure eights. Come back to 2,500 feet right there. And we'll do this across the park. So I'm going to come out on about a 45, right about there. I'll do a teardrop and come back on a 45 in the opposite direction. I'm still relying too much on my instruments, I can tell you that much. Alright, so we'll do a teardrop right around here. Okay, watching my airspeed. Around we go. I'm steepening it here to correct for our wind. Okay, there's the park. I'm going to come back on a 45 across it in the other direction. There we go. Roll wings level. Relax my back pressure. And get ready to do it in the other direction. That's the Science Museum down there, I think, with the grass roof. Okay, bring in a little back pressure. Relax my death grip on the stick. And we'll come back on a 45 here. Finally, we'll do a little button hook and we'll come back up along the park. We'll go over the Presidio here. It's about 90 degrees and 100% humidity here in New York. I wish I were at San Francisco. All right. This is X-Plane 10.5, by the way, hence the rather good autogen, if you could see down there. Okay, we'll do a pretty steep turn to get us back. Button hooked over here. I'm going to go even steeper, and I'm going to pull a little bit here. There we go. And roll out there. Actually overcooked it a little bit. Come down to Panhandle Park. You know, I wonder if this airplane can do a roll. Alright. Do I dare turn this fuel pump on? Let's go mixture full rich. Build up a little speed. I know it can roll inverted. And push, and come around, and yes. Not bad. All right. Let's see if we can do... I guess it would be a split S. I don't think we can. I think I'm going to over-G the airplane if I do. Alright. Well, let's try. Little negative G's there for a second. A little speed going over the hazardous terrain. And let us do... Okay, we'll pull. And pull, and pull, and pull. Get ourselves inverted. And now we'll push, and we'll roll. And, well, Not bad. Alright, it can be done. Let's do some spins, just for practice. I'm going to do a 1-turn spin to the left, but first let me gain some altitude here. You know what? I don't think you can do a hammerhead on this plane, but let's see if we can try. Build up a little speed. I'll do some weak-ass hammerhead. Alright, pulse gently. Gently. There we go. Bring out the power. Hard over on the rudder. Full forward. No, we're not inverted. Let's see. Alright, there we go. Alright, a little too close to Golden Gate Park for comfort, and so now we know that at least I can't do a hammerhead. But that was probably just bad technique. Let's try it again. No, I fell out of it. Ah, there we go. Alright, that's probably not good. Flying negative G's like that. Alright, there we go. Enough of that nonsense. Let's go back and land before we fall flat on our reputations. We want to do a little bit of tactical flying. Yeah, let's do some nap of the earth flying. Alright. Come down a little bit here. Enjoy the scenery. Something you cannot do in prepared because it's still rendering it. On the other hand, this thing uses up so much VRAM it's not even funny. Alright, this is where we were before. Come down here. This is north of Noe Valley. It's the next valley over. Follow this road there. Ultimately, we're going to pop up over San Bruno Mountain. Let's take this route. Get our trim worked out a little bit. There we go. And we'll get on the highway. I guess that's 280, but I'm not sure. But let's find out. See if we can see a road sign. Want to hit any street lights? Let's see. Couldn't read it. But that's the BART. And that goes towards Daly City. And actually what we want to do is go up over that mountain there instead of going around it like the BART does. Good looking auto gen, wow. Alright, we might have some trouble climbing this mountain here. So what I think I'm going to do is I'm going to take this road right here, because I know that it's not an insane grade. That's another thing compared to P3D. The roads on this actually look somewhat like roads. I'm not signaling for any of these turns. My apologies. All right, up we go. Fly along the nap of the earth here. I'm going to go down this crevice here, so that will surprise everybody. Now, the only problem is that power line, so I'm going to bank hard right once I get up out of here, and I've got enough speed to do it. Right about like that. And up and over. And there we are. And we're almost at pattern altitude. But you know what I'm going to do first? Let's have some more fun here. This thing does not exactly have a sprightly roll rate, I'll tell you that much for free. We're going to come up over that other mountain. And probably pulling far too many G's for this airplane. Well, maybe not. No, we're not really going crazy here. All right, over South San Francisco. Do we want to do another roll before we land? I think we do. I don't think I have the altitude though, so we'll just come up to pattern altitude here. Slow down. Gear down. Get on our base leg, put in a notch of flaps. Retrim a little bit here. I'm trimmed for mayhem. There we go. I really need to get track IR. Let's do 10 right. This is an amazing airport Mr. X did. It's got the working monorail, or whatever you call it. Oh, what the hell. Gear up. Flaps up. Let's do something crazy. Get a little speed going here. That was awkward. A little bit of negative G's there. And let's circle to land. Do a little military 180 here. Oh, I forgot. We got a big crosswind. Okay. Oh, what the hell. Oh, geez, we got a huge crosswind. All right, well. There we go. We got a 20 knot crosswind. Totally forgot about that. Alright, well, what are you gonna do? Anyway, I think I'll leave it right there before anything else goes wrong. And I'll just weather vane my way back to the gate. It's been fun, and I hope you got something out of it. At least you got a kick or two out of it. And I'll, of course, see you next time. Totally forgot about that crosswind. Bye-bye.